What are the differences between a career in accounting and a career in finance? This is the topic of this video. Welcome back, guys. My name is Bill Hanna and I'm the financial controller, and this channel is all about giving you the tools and tips to supercharge your accounting and finance career. The good news is that the job market for accounting and finance is expected to grow at a pace of about 6% annually for the next 10 years. And so this is an exciting time for you to get into accounting and finance and grow your career. Now let's get into the differences between accounting and finance as a career. And the difference number one has to do with the goal. What's the goal of a financial accountant versus the goal of a financial analyst? The goal of the accountant is to get the data in and create financial statements. And so the accountant is concerned with gathering the transactions of the business and creating financial statements, as opposed to the goal of a financial analyst, which is to analyze this data and look at it from this point in time forward and project out the performance of the business. The second difference has to do with the nature of the work. So the accountant's work by definition or by nature is looking at the past, at the history, and gathering the financial data and information and summarizing that into financial statements. Now the financial analyst is concerned with the future. So they're always looking at this point in time, going forward and forecasting the performance of the business. The third difference has to do with the risk. What risk is the accountant trying to mitigate all the time and concerned with all the time? And the risk here is the risk of material misstatement. That is, the financial statements that the accountant is producing has a material misstatement or error. This is opposed to the risk that the financial analyst is dealing with, which is the risk between a variance between what they are projecting for the future and reality. So a financial analyst is always making assumptions about the future, and the risk here is that some of these assumptions may be wrong. Difference number 4 between an accountant and a financial analyst has to do with the type of problems they're trying to solve. And so typically an accountant is trying to solve problems around accruals, revenue recognition, making sure the accrued for expenses that have not yet impacted the cash balance but the service has been incurred, or booking revenue in the right period, and just generally following US GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. Now the kind of problems the financial analyst will be dealing with will have to do with modeling and creating assumptions about the future, such as seasonality, customer behavior, and customer loss or churn in the future. Difference number 5 has to do with compensation. In the US in 2019, the median salary for an accountant was $71,000 a year, which is not too bad, compared to a financial analyst, which had a median salary of $86,000 a year. And so as you can see, there's about $15,000 gap, which is about 15 to 20% difference between what accountants and financial analysts. Difference number 6 has to do with certification. Now, the gold standard for accountants is to become a certified public accountant or CPA. Now, I'm a CPA myself, and for sure it had a huge impact on my career, increased my salary, increased my credibility, and just had been a huge impact in my life. Studying for and passing the CPA exam has been one of the most difficult tasks that I had to endure in my professional life. But lucky for me, I found out about Roger's CPA Review, which is, in my opinion, the best review course out there for CPA exam. So if you're preparing for the CPA, or if you're taking a different course right now and looking for an alternative, I highly recommend Roger. His style of teaching is highly energetic. My biggest problem with studying for the CPA is the material is extremely boring, and Roger has a way of making it very exciting and very interesting. So I'm going to leave a link down below in the description for a promotion that Roger is running right now for his CPA review class. Make sure if you sign up for the course, sign up using this link so I can get the referral credit. Now let's look at the day in the life of an accountant versus the day in the life of a financial analyst. And I think the best way is to look at a month in the life versus a day in the life, because a month will give you a better view on what's going on in each of their professions. For the accountant, their month usually begins with the first 7 days of trying to close the period. And so that will entail billing, going over invoices from vendors, making sure we're booking all of the expenses, even though we have not received the vendor invoice yet, accruing for these expenses and things like that. And that will entail having meetings within the accounting team, and the meetings, probably you spend like 25% of your time in meetings, trying to close the books and trying to make sure you're following all the rules, comparing period over period in terms of expenses and revenue to make sure you're catching any anomalies. Now, if you compare that to the month in the life of a financial analyst, you'll see that a financial analyst spends maybe about 56 to 60% of their time in meetings. And now their meetings are different. The accountants meetings are usually internal. They're meeting within the accounting team most of the time. For the financial analyst, most of the time they're meeting with other people within the company from the sales team to go over revenue forecasts and assumptions, or meeting with the operation team and trying to capture the forecast for expenses and things like that. Now, there are three reasons for me to choose accounting over finance as a career. The first of which is my own personality as an introvert. And so I interact with my smaller accounting team most of the time, and I interact with the larger group in the company from revenue and operations on a smaller scale. So most of the time I'm just interacting with 5 or 6 people within my own team, and I spend a small amount of time interacting with the rest of the company, and that suits my personality more as an introvert. I think that finance suits more a extrovert type personality where you'll be spending most of your time interacting with people from all around the company. Now, the second reason for me to choose accounting was that it's rule-based. And so when it's rule-based, I have a set of rules to follow and I know what I'm doing exactly. So I have rules, which is for accounting, it's US GAAP, which is the US generally accepted accounting principles. And as long as I'm operating within these rules, I know that I'm doing the right thing and there's no ambiguity. It's mostly black and white. There's a little bit of gray, but mostly black and white. And so this is what I enjoy the most, and that's why I chose accounting. Now, the third reason for me to choose accounting over finance has to do with the stress level. I believe that the stress level from working in accounting is lower than finance. The reason being is that you are concerned with two things in accounting, which is accuracy and timeliness. And as long as you're accurate in the financials that you're reporting and the timing of the reporting, you'll be fine. Whereas in finance, there are other factors from outside that can impact your work because you're always making assumptions about the future, and these assumptions may change, and so there will be a variance between your projection and reality. So I hope this video gave you a good overview on the differences between a career in accounting and a career in finance. I'd like to hear your questions. If you have any questions for me in the comment section below, or if you want to tell us your own experience in majoring in accounting or in finance and your career in general, feel free to leave a comment below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out weekly. As always, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video.